There's a woman in now she's in Kansas City, and I saw a picture of it, but it's hard to wrap my mind around it. She's created something called a burn cake. You ever heard of these? It's called a burn cake.
It's a new rage from what I can tell.
And this woman, I guess she's in Minnesota. She created it. So it looks like one thing. The cake comes, it's got like a Kansas City Chiefs logo on it. But then you set fire to the top of it, and one layer burns off, and it reveals like a picture of Taylor Swift. And so it's
burns?
Literally, they make it
the fondant.
No, it's got to be paper or cardboard.
No, it's the fondant that burns away. The idea was to design a cake that had a Chiefs logo on it that burned away to reveal a picture of Taylor Swift. And there's some sort of, I think it's edible. The top of it is edible, and yet it burns away smoothly. And she's talking about how she created it.
So I'm a huge Swiftie, of course. So I wanted to create something that had to do with the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift. So I decided to make the Chiefs logo burn away and reveal a funny image of Taylor Swift with a football helmet. And then I used one of her song titles, Are You Ready For It? Because we're all ready for the Super Bowl.
And now she says she's getting a lot of business because women are ordering it in secret for their husbands or boyfriends, and then, as a joke, burning it away.
A lot of women are ordering these in secret and then bringing them to the Super Bowl party to surprise their husbands, because it is a whole Chiefs themed cake on the outside, but then on the inside reveals the Taylor Swift love that all of the females seem to have for her.
I did see it, and it does burn away smoothly, and then the fire
I'm
goes
blinded
out.
with science.
I know, and then the fire goes out.
It's like 3D printing. I can't grasp it.
Right.
Well,
what is it?
You're not going to believe this. There is actually something. It's an edible ink printer.
Oh, that's what it is.
And it's basically paper made from like rice or sugar.
So you could eat it.
Yes, because another popular trend is gender reveals, obviously.
Uh-huh.
So on top, you'll say, hey, is it a boy or a girl? Well, they light fire to it. That burns away, and it has a color. Also, like weddings, it'll have, pictures like of the bride and groom that burn away to them together. It's a big trend, but that's what it is. Bakeries have true edible printers, and you can print on it this paper, edible paper.
How far big is? Do you know if the internet is filled with these burn cakes catching the tablecloth on fire?
No, because it's the whole thing is it truly does. Because I mean, the rest of the cake is frosted and decorated.
Yeah.
It just burns that away.
Yeah.
And then stops.
So
it's too late for you to order one.
Oh, right.
Oh,
that would be so cool, though.
Oh, that would be cool. Next year,
have Biggie's face on it.
Biggie's face, it burns away, and it's BB Shea.
Yeah,
because that
depending on who's coming. Yeah,
it depends on who's coming to the party.
Because that's life.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you, labor intensive. These cakes, so they're pricey.
Expensive.
Bakeries charge a lot. Yeah,
I'll bet
3 figures.
I would say I'm sure probably.
Yeah,
because apparently it's a very labor intensive thing to do, and I'm sure there's only right now. I'm sure there's a small number of bakeries that do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that an edible printer, that's got to be pricey.
Right.
I would guess.
I mean, but when you see it, it's so smooth that it goes away, and it looks like it's never even been there. It's all of a sudden you get a different.
Cakes, it's a normal size cake.
Yeah, it's a sheet cake,
and you can
eat
round cake. You can eat
what's
what's left.
Then you eat what's left, and it's
just
crazy. You could eat it without burning it, I guess, because it's like a sugar layer that's printed. It's unbelievable.
I'll be dog.
It's edible paper.
There's another cake issue today that's happening. A woman has said she's very upset because Publix, which is known as having a really good bakery and really good cakes, used to do something. They would do a wedding cake for you, and they would let you sample 4 or 5 different flavors of wedding cake.
Something they also do, if you're interested in getting a wedding cake through them, is they would send you home with a platter. I think it's of like 4 or 5 different cakes, 4 or 5 different icings, and it was like free. You could just take it home and enjoy it, and then pick your flavor and your icing. And it was just a really nice option.
Now, here's why she's mad. What happened is this got out on TikTok that you could go and get cake samples from Publix, and it was like a free cake, basically, because they'd give you 4 or 5 slices of different icings, as you just heard. And so people would just pretend to get married and go in there and take advantage of it to eat cake, and they'd get cake and take it home. So now Publix has discontinued the practice.
Update, Publix no longer gives out the wedding cake sampler platter. Yeah, that's because a couple of people brought it on here, got millions and millions of views. People started storming to their Publix to get these platters. Even though they weren't getting married, they created a lot of labor for the people who worked at Publix. So unsurprising to anyone with a brain, Publix has decided that they're no longer going to offer that for free. You all ruined it. This is why we can't have nice things.
That's right.
She's right.
You all ruined it. Yes, she realizes the irony that she is on TikTok bashing
The calls are
divorce.
coming from inside the house.
That's correct. That's right. That's right.
This happened with Chipotle.
I remember you saying.
Well, there was some people figured out a way, I guess, to get, a burrito for cheaper if you order this, this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then it went out on TikTok, and then they were overrun with people who were, and it was very detailed order hack too. You had to get everything like separate.
That's right.
And there was suddenly everyone's lining up, and it's taking all day to get your burrito because everybody's like, I want corn in a separate container. I want salsa in a separate container.
If you bought a burrito with 8 things on it, chicken, corn, beans, rice, etc., you got it for $10.
Yeah.
If you bought a side of corn, a side burrito, a side of chicken, it was $7.
Some of the sides were like free. So
Right.
it was like, and you saved $2.
And yeah.
But it blew up.
Yep.
And it went everywhere, and then they had to discontinue that. And same thing here. I bet that was a nice option for couples getting married.
Not anymore.
Smart thing for Publix, too.
Not anymore.
I didn't know they were in the wedding cake biz.
I didn't know they did that either, but you said they have good cakes.
Publix is known to have the best grocery store bakery. When they roll into town, they put it out there and say, we're going to knock every other grocery store
There's a new
out.
swinging dick in town.
Here it is.
They're so brazen, they'll...
free wedding cake here. Just take it. We don't care.
What I like is you'll go to their bakery and they'll have a cake like cut in half on display saying, look how nice our layers are. Here's the competitor we just bought. They suck.
Wait a minute.
Sorry,
Wait a minute.
Publix puts it out there, man.
They cut a cake in half and show you a Kroger cake that's not as good beside each other. Wow. I was at a Toyota dealership once. And I was one time a long time ago. I was at a Toyota dealership.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not shopping.
No. It was in the. It was. I was contractually obligated to be there, but they had a Honda, like they had a Camry and an Accord beside each other in the showroom with the hoods up on both, and the Toyota looked more put together underneath. They showed the hosing, the engine, and all that, and said compare. I thought that was pretty smart. I mean, it was pretty smart on their part. I mean, the Honda, the Accord, maybe just as good a
They
vehicle.
were 1 and 1A for a time.
Many, this was a far back.
Pre-SUV era.
Yeah, and so the Toyota did look more substantial when you looked up under the hood. Now I'm not a car guy.
No, and that's what they were counting on.
Yeah, that's why they got you.
They wanted people who don't know cars to look and just go, yes.
Well, I leased a Camry, as you recall. A
couple of them.
I leased a couple of Camrys with disastrous results.
Yes.
Through my own fault.
Yes.
I put diesel gas in one. Total
you
accident.
put diesel gas in one, and you obliterated the mileage limit on the other.
Fact, that was my fault. I leased, and I'm still paying that. I mean, I lost that. Other than the Pine Straw debacle, that's probably the worst financial move I've ever made. Leasing when I was driving all over the place.
Which car had the low-hanging muffler that they started calling
the Camry?
sparks?
The Camry.
Yeah.
It caused sparks.
The red and the gold.
Yep, and
Swing low.
design flaw. I said, "What are you gonna do about this?" Can't. Design flaw. What are we
Every
supposed?
time I go over a speed bump, it drags.
Yeah, it will.
That's what it's supposed to do now.
Sparks. You see the sparks fly, especially if somebody was sitting in the back seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your apartment had like 3 speed bumps to get out
and every day
and to get in.
I was called a forest fire. They wouldn't let me in there during the dry season. How could they?
Can you park by the highway?
It's sparked up every time I went in
Well,
there.
we were prepared to blame the smokers, but it winds up it's this guy's Camry.
Yes, it would spark up every time I went over a speed bump.
What's up with the mileage? Where were you going?
Well, I started dating a young lady in Winston-Salem who's now my wife, so I was driving back and forth there.
But you blew past that mileage limit.
I did, and I would drive, and
You
Mom
drive your buds to the beach.
Mom did my laundry once a week down in Ashboro.
You have to have that done.
So I was back and forth there.
That's the top of the list.
Yeah, I was driving people. And I always thought, I'll never reach it.
Mileage.
And then I got there.
And they're nice guys. They'll let me off the hook.
And I got there a year early. I mean, a year. And it was 10 cents a mile. And I was like, gee. And once I got over it, I was like, oh, man, that was really a rough time. I was trying not to drive, but of course I had to. Mm-hmm. And so, man, that was really difficult.
Hells.
I know, stupid. I live and learn on that. That's what. So,
So?
do you know what I bought? It's out in the parking lot right now. I bought that.
Yonder she sits.
Yonder she sits right there. Still got her. That's right. Still got her. Myrtle Beach, Doug, you're talking about the wedding cakes at Publix. This woman is complaining because they no longer give out the samples. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. Yeah, that's a tragedy they don't. But I'll tell you, Publix, their cakes are amazing.
Yeah.
The lovely Myrtle Beach, Doug and I, that's where we got our wedding cake. It was absolutely delicious. They were so helpful. It was a reasonable price. They actually even had, I don't know if they do it now, but at the time we were close enough free delivery for it and setup. And as well, they say you're supposed to save like the cake topper, like so that a year later you can have it and, you put it in the freezer and stuff. Got it out the year later for our first year anniversary. Delicious.
Still delicious. Delicious. We did ours and it had like freezer burn.
Ours was horrible.
Terrible. Yeah, ours was too. It was all falling apart.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. Thank
Way
you,
to go,
Myrtle.
Publix.
Thank you, Myrtle Beach, Doug. Well, she says it's the best.
Publix Bakery, man.
But you've got to wrap it properly the night of. That's part of it.
On the year anniversary? Absolutely. On the night of the wedding.
Publix makes the big
I guess they do.
multi-tier wedding.
They do, yeah.
They make a mango key lime pie that's to die for.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
And you tried that? You tried
That's
that?
a cake flavor?
That's just a key lime
A
pie,
pie.
with
Mango key lime pie.
And they make a good chicken.
Well, the fried chicken is outstanding.
To die for.
It's outstanding. This
Delicious.
Here's one you'll be interested in. This. See if you can guess this. This is about grocery stores as well. Instacart has put out their stats on what Americans have ordered in the past week for a Super Bowl. So the number one item ordered from grocery stores, these are all combined. What do you think the number one ordered item from grocery stores is?
Chips.
Yep, nacho chips. That's
Nacho
it.
chips.
Tostitos, nacho chips.
Yeah. Gotta have a foundation.
And salsa is right there behind it, too.
I was going to say, I think people think wings, but I bet it's chips.
Yeah, and you know what they said is right up there. It's not wings, but like buffalo chicken dip and stuff to make buffalo chicken dip.
That buffalo chicken dip is having a moment. It's giant.
It'll be on our table.
Is that right?
I'm making the buffalo chicken dip, yes. And Dave, I don't mean to hold a grudge against you, but 7 years ago when you came to this party for the first time, I made the buffalo chicken dip, and you loved it, and you loved the cracker I had chosen for it. You said the delivery device on this is key. I remember those words.
Yeah.
And you said this is great. I mean, this is fantastic. A year later, I made sure to get those same crackers, and you had it. I said, "What do you think of those crackers?" And you said, "They're okay."
It's amazing what a few cocktails can do.
I was fishing for that compliment
Yeah.
because this was Super Bowl 52. You said
So you've held the grudge for how many years? XII?
Yeah, I've
VII years?
VIII years. I've held a grudge because you said.
Oh, this cracker.
I don't even remember the question. What was it?
This cracker is my favorite cracker. He might have been talking about a person.
I was talking about you.
Yeah, he might have been talking about somebody at the party.
First time I think you gotta hear my favorite cracker.
Holding that cracker.
I love buffalo chicken dip and I love crackers. Well, the room's full of them.
Fact.
You said this cracker is the best cracker, and right there, I committed that to memory. And I'm
So
going.
you've gotten them for the past VII
Correct. And then the next year, I made that same buffalo chicken dip and the cracker, and it was early in the game. And I said to Dave, "What do you think about that cracker?" That's all right. What?
I didn't mean to slap you with it.
Now it's been 4 years.
That's IV.
It's been IV years since we've had that part. Yesterday, I'm wandering around and I see that cracker. And I say, by God, I'm getting this cracker. He better like this.
You better fawn over
Better.
it.
Dave,
That's a $1 cracker.
Dave, you just got here, but he's been combative today.
Is that right?
He's kind of like the person at the home who's been calling the orderlies, and this is
Yeah.
keying up again.
You gotta up the dosage.
You cannot imagine.
There he is right there. A man who said he loved my cracker.
I'm putting that cracker out there.
Well, I don't want you to put salt in the wound, but what kind of cracker was it?
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you because there'll be multiple crackers on the table.
Was it a wheat thin?
I'm not saying. No.
That's too
No.
basic.
It's not nearly
No.
as common as a wheat thin.
I bet it was like a chicken and biscuit or whatever
You
it is.
at the first one, at Super Bowl LII, you looked at it and you're like, yes. But by LII, you're like, whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Is this a cookie cracker designed only for that particular dip? Or is there a mix and match?
It's a mix and match. It was a bold choice. I thought most people, I think, would just use Tostitos for that.
And it's not a chip.
It's right. It's a cracker. And so most people, I think, would just go with a Tostito scoop for this buffalo chicken dip. But I wanted variety because the scoops are on other stuff. So you could mix and match. But Dave found it intriguing, and he loved it for 1 year. And then, and I've never forgotten it. I've never forgotten that moment.
Tell. When it's arranged, is it arranged properly on the buffet?
Well, you thought so one time.
I don't think anybody had Cracker Grudge on their bingo card.
Not this year.
But I love that this is a deep look inside you, that it's been 7 years and you're still remembering.
That's right. That's exactly
It's the
right.
first I've heard of it. I apologize. I'll try and choose properly on Sunday.
I've kept that in for VII years, but I've known about it VIII.
Wait till this year. He's debuting a bean dip.
I am.
We'll wait for your reaction on that.
There's a bean dip this year. Let's see how you do.
Oh, that's the black bean deal.
Yes. I hope you like that. I think you will.